Good evening, everyone. We are starting off by turning the oven at 400 or 205 Celsius. I'm going to be making chicken legs today, and the first step is to dry the chicken legs. Take off all the juices with just some paper towel. Just keep dabbing them with the paper towel until they are completely dry on both sides. We are going to be making chicken legs out of the oven today with some cauliflower and broccoli and homemade cheese sauce. I will be showing you today how to do that. So I have a baking dish here, and I'm just going to put the chicken legs in there before I put the spices and herbs on it. You can use fresh herbs, but I'm just using powdered herbs here, dried spices. So I'm going to start off with some olive oil. I'm using a tablespoon of olive oil, and I'm just rubbing that into my hands and rub it all over the chicken. If this grosses you out, which I know it might for some people based on my previous cooking videos, just use gloves. Do however you want to do this. This is how I do it. Just make sure that the olive oil is rubbed all over the chicken legs. Once that's done, I'm just washing my hands, and now I'm going to put on some fine sea salt. You can use any salt, but I'm using fine sea salt. Now I'm going to use some freshly ground black pepper. And now I'm using some red paprika powder. And honestly, guys, I just eyeball this. I just kind of, want to have a thin layer of salt, pepper, red paprika, and also garlic powder on the chicken, which is next. So a thin layer of garlic powder. Now we're going to turn around the chicken legs so we can put the spices and herbs on the other side. Just going to wash my hands real quick, and we're repeating the same process on this side, starting off with some pepper. Garlic powder, some red paprika, and I also put some salt on there. So this is what it looks like before it goes into the oven. So now the oven is preheated, and the chicken goes into the oven. We're going to cook that for 40 to 45 minutes. So in the meantime, I am going to grate the cheese. I'm using marbled cheddar cheese for this, and I'm going for about a cup, but it always ends up to be slightly more than a cup. The recipe calls for 1 cup of cheddar cheese, though. I'm grating it on a plate. There. That's about how much it is. So I would say that it's a little more than a cup. But that's okay. As long as it's not like, a cup and a half. That's okay. So we also need some cream and some salt. We're going to use 1 cup of cheese, 1 cup of table cream in this case. You can also use any other type of cream. We're going to use some a tablespoon of flour and some pepper and salt. And then I will also add some dry parsley. So I'm just going to turn the oven or the stove on medium high, and I'm using vegetable oil here. Just waiting for that to heat. You can also use olive oil. Today I'm using frozen cauliflower. So today I'm using frozen broccoli and frozen cauliflower. I just gave that a good stir, and now I'm putting some salt on it. The reason why I stirred it first is so that the oils stick to the broccoli and cauliflower. And we're going to put on some black pepper. Give it another good stir. And put the lid on and let that steam for a little. So in the meantime, I'm going to melt some butter. This is for the cheese sauce. So 1 tablespoon of butter. Just make sure that melts all the way. And once it's bubbling, we're throwing in 1 tablespoon of flour, and we're just using a little whisk to keep mixing that around. And we want the flour and butter mixture to become golden brown. And until it does, we keep mixing it. There. Once that's done, you add the cream. A little bit at a time. One cup of cream. I'm using half a cup scoop here. I'm using a measuring cup that's half a cup. So you don't want any chunks to be in there, so just keep stirring it and then add the second part of the cream. The second half a cup. And then we're going to keep stirring this until it starts to bubble. And once it looks like this, we're going to add the cheese. We're also going to turn off the oven. Add the remaining cheese and keep stirring. once you've stirred it and the cheese is melted, it has this consistency. I'm just going to add some pepper to it. You don't have to do that. I just really like some pepper in my cheese sauce. And I'm also going to add some dried pepper flakes. This would taste better with fresh parsley flakes, but I do not have fresh parsley, so dried it is. Just keep stirring it. Just keep stirring it until it looks something like this. I always used to use packet cheese powder, cheese sauce powder in the Netherlands, but when I moved to Canada, they don't really have that, at least not the ones I like. So I learned how to make it myself. So just put the lid on there. Let's get back to the vegetables that have been cooking this whole time. Let's give it a good stir. This is almost done. So a few minutes later, everything is done. The chicken has been in the oven for 45 minutes. The skin is crunchy. So I'm just serving everything on my plate right now. And I absolutely love gravy and cheese sauce, so I am going to add some of the juices from the chicken on top of the chicken and the cheese sauce. Like I said, I really love cheese sauce, so I'm going to put a lot of cheese sauce on the cauliflower and broccoli, because that's how I like it. You don't have to do it like this, of course. And there you have it, guys. My homemade dinner. It was very quickly, it was very easy to make this. The chicken takes the longest in the oven, but you know, in terms of preparation, this is very, very little. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with a new eating video.